Hey guys, welcome back to another episode, Good Things Auto, where we are finally figuring out why the red car has been losing like a little bit of coolant each event, just enough to cause it to eventually heat spike and you have to refill it. This dual valve spring head was originally pressure tested when I built it, but at some point it developed a coolant leak. And I dropped it off to them when we replaced that head gasket and the new studs and asked them to pressure test it when they skimmed those cut ring grooves out so we could run an MLS. And well, they never tested it. I thought they tested it. I asked them to test it. He thought they had tested it. He checked the receipt. They hadn't. So Carlos and I tore this apart a couple mornings ago. And the first thing we noticed off the rip was how incredibly, well, clean the valve cover was. Dare I say, steam cleaned? So we genuinely thought we were going to pull the valve cover off, put a pressure tester on it since the cooling system was all still hooked up, and we would see like water building up in the head somewhere from a crack up on the top. Well, we did that. We looked all over it, no crack. So we pulled it off anyways, and I brought it up to the machine shop praying he was gonna find something. And check this out.
I mean, maybe a little bit where it goes in. Almost looks like it goes across right there.
Yeah, I don't... Man,
We'll pull that valve out.
I don't really see anything.
It almost looks like it's starting. That is it.
Right
See
there.
that line right there?
Yeah. You can see the crack right there from the rust line where it was coming out, the water, and draining down that way and eventually building up and dropping into that drain hole to the pan. So Carlos and I could never see it, even if the cams were out, because it was leaking internally from there to there. Because we had that thing pressure tested and we were checking all over it trying to find water. We really thought the crack was down there in the cylinders, but this car never had cooling pressure in the cooling system and never mixed water and oil. It never smoked or missed. It had perfect compression. It didn't show any signs of it having a cracked head other than mysterious coolant loss. Remember, no smoking, just drive it a whole bunch and then you go to change the oil and you find the water in the oil. But no oil in the coolant. Ta-da. I mean, never were we gonna ever find that unless we took it to the machine shop and he popped those out and pressure tested it. Good news and bad news, I guess. The good news is we found the crack. The bad news is that was my dual valve spring head. And what I mean by that is, so these non-Vanos heads that we use from 1992 BMWs, the main difference from them and M52 heads is, first off, there's this metal here you cut out so that you can run Vanos. And second off is the dual valve springs. So if you look, these springs are actually, I mean, first off, the outer is beefy. And then it has an inner as well to help at high RPM or heavy lift, like a heavy duty cam, or high RPM, like say 8,000 RPMs. These springs will do 8,000 RPMs all day if you do solid lifters and you have cams that breathe there. I want to show you the difference from the size of these compared to a regular M52 spring. Look at that. Look at that. Not only is this thing bigger, wider diameter, thicker material, there was two of them. So we're gonna run this very fresh M52 head that I just had done. There's positives and negatives. The only negative is small springs, which means I can't, first off, rev as high. With my solid lifters, if I had gotten better cams, I could have gone to 8. Now, I'm only gonna see 7,400. It's okay. We don't really need 8. My cams didn't breathe up there. Second is bang bang ignition cut limiter. I just don't want to risk. I already turned it off on this car and just did a regular one because people are cracking exhaust cams and stuff like that. And it does sound incredible, but that valve train doesn't like it as much. It's just not as strong as a non-Vanos valve train. So we're going to turn off the bang bang limiter. Otherwise, all we have to do to convert from this head over to this one is get all of the exhaust studs out of it. That's the only thing left. And we can officially put this on the shelf until we get another non-Vanos head where someone like cracked a spring or something like that and it's not usable anymore. And we can put our good springs in it. All right, short one, but informative one for y'all today. Let's get this thrown back together. We'll cooling pressure test it to make sure it's actually good, get it broken in, driving up and down the road. And then we'll go beat it up at Lanier and make sure it works before the Chase Bays event we have coming up in 2 weeks. All right, guys, let's get started. And these are a little dirty. These are N54 exhaust studs or N55. I really recommend these, although it is a little expensive to get a whole set. I think it was like $100, worth every penny. These are 7.4 foot-pounds on these little guys, and then only 14 foot-pounds on these little copper nuts that go on it. So these don't take a lot of torque. These can stretch pretty easily or damage these threads. So this head is stripped apart and I was ready to go throwing this back together, and well, it turns out only one of them came. So I thought I had two, but I fixed that by getting an old one and copper gasketing it. You need a new one? No, okay? Y'all stop with everything having to be so perfect. It's gonna be fine, watch. Okay, we are fully bolted down. Look how clean this head is. I mean, I swear they even paint it or something after they finish it. Let's go ahead and figure out which sensor we need to use, because as you see, this M52 head only has one coolant sensor port, and this M50 head had two. Blue is engine temperature to DME, while black, it just goes up to the ECU cluster. So we're gonna end up, for now, losing that unusable cooling gauge right there, but I got a big one there. So we're okay just using one for the time being. Go ahead and throw this one at TDC and then back it off just a little bit. Right there, looks good. Is low, so that when we drop that on and then drop in the cams, none of the valves will open up and hit the pistons. So everything stays safe. We'll keep it like that until everything is installed, and then we will bring it back to TDC, align the cams at TDC, and set the chains. All right, guys, no need to walk you through every step of this. I've got a ton of videos if you want to do a head gasket or install a head or time a motor or anything like that. We're gonna get it put together, then we will pressure test it to prove that this works. Then we're gonna go drifting and have like perfect cooling temperatures and not lose any water and have a bulletproof motor, hopefully. Let's go. Yep, that's on. Holy shit. And we have everything at 85 foot-pounds. These two, they scared me a little bit. They didn't really want to click like all the others. So after I was all said and done, I went back over to them and I put it at 80 and they clicked, 82, 84, and then 85. And so they did click up and really scared it, made my heart beat. I marked it on the board. I was all worried about it, but it turned out fine. So we're gonna let this set for a few hours and we're gonna come back and re-torque it because it is an MLS. Make sure they all turn to 85 foot-pounds again, and we'll throw the cams in. But we're one step closer. Look at Gustavo. Where are you going? He's taking Jake's wheels. Look at those. Cams are in, and unfortunately we have to take them back out because I'm always trying to do shit different, and I have solid lifters in this motor, and the solid lifters, after a quick measurement, are way the f out of spec. Pardon my language. I mean, look at that, at least. So these are a little open. These should be 0.06, 0.07 in the exhaust. We'll fix those. But look at the intakes. These are supposed to be 0.05 to 0.06. I mean, yeah. All right, we're gonna pull these out. We'll reshim them real quick. I'll give you guys a little overview of how it works. I'll do an in-depth video the next time one of y'all lets me shim your heads. Jackson, Sean, somebody. Come on, let me do it, Carlos. Drop the lifters out. We're gonna work on these one at a time. Replace the shim inside of there with some new ones, and we will get them down from these numbers to where they need to be. Remember, if these are out, Be nice to me, man. This is never fun. Okay, this round is done. All that's left to do is drop them back into their homes. Put the magnets on, and we'll throw this back in, put the cam back in, and remeasure everything again. If it looks good, we can leave it. Sometimes we have to do it again. But that is just how it goes when you want to have super cool solid lifters that don't bleed out when you're beating them like Jackson's did the other day. Looking. Looks good to me. All right, let's keep going. And we are ready to throw the obviously steam cleaned valve cover back on. I mean, look at that. I didn't clean that at all. That just goes to show you that when it was leaking water under that cam, it was steaming the water at high temp, like the hot oil and stuff like that. And that's why this was so clean. And my catch can was filling up every couple laps, probably every 10 laps. We're ready to put the cold side in. Carlos, hi Carlos, showed me a very interesting way. Look at that. I never once thought of just doing that. That made that so easy that I want to just mount this to my trailer and bring it with me to events. If I ever have to service the turbo, I mean, that was fast. So between that and him finding an issue with one of my wastegate lines getting a little melty against the hot side turbo blanket, I was really thankful he came over to help. And that is it, guys. I've got the exhaust in. Everything looks great underneath the car, quite honestly. All we have to do is put some coolant in it. Just flowing water. Should be ready. And we're capped. That whole mess is hopefully done finally. I swear I chased that crack or that coolant loss for 2 seasons. So it was never bad, but it was always there. Let's just go ahead and start it, run it, see how it does. Then let it cool down and we'll pressure test it before we go drive it tomorrow. Okay, so we're gonna head on up to the event, torque the head studs with Carlos out there at Linear Raceplex, and we'll test this thing and see if it works. Fingers crossed, guys. Let's go. What up, homie? So we're here, and we're already torn apart. We're gonna get in there, torque the head studs real quick with this asshole who actually has been very helpful with a very nice, look at that, very nice torque wrench.
This should be it.
There it is.
There you go.
86 foot-pounds. Sounds healthy. I mean, everything else is done. We'll warm it up and we'll test it. I didn't even look at my AFRs. It was really good.